powerful computers that are wireless internet ready, turning every room into an interactive technology center.
Can you pay cash?
Wireless internet, made easy with Dell.
Dell Latitude notebooks use Intel Pentium 3 processors.
CBS Sports presents a special look at these inspirational athletes performing extraordinary feats. The Sydney 2000 Paralympic Games, next Sunday on CBS.
13-7, Atlanta lead at Kansas City. Don't forget, coming up, the NASDAQ.com halftime report. Join Jim, Mike, and Randy. All the scores and highlights and all the latest playoff news coming up. The NASDAQ.com halftime report. Well, a nice ovation from the fans that did come to the Georgia Dome for Warren Moon, wrapping up his professional football career. 23 years of pro football, 6 of them in the CFL. Gerback throwing to the sideline, and Derek Alexander getting involved as Ray Buchanan makes the stop. And the clock is moving now, 1:48 and ticking left in the first half.
It's about time, I think, they threw the ball to Alexander's side of the field. That's the first reception of the day. And for him, he just set the all-time record of receiving yards for the Kansas City Chiefs, passing Carlos Carson.
Stepping up, Gerback forced to run it and brought down at midfield, short of a first down by Patrick Kearney. So Derek Alexander gets into the Chiefs record book. Most yards in a season receiving on the handoff, and that play just never looked good from the start. They were rushing things on a third down, and Marty Carter brought down Tony Richardson short of a first down. Gunther Cunningham told us the other day that, you know, these losses, of course, eat away at him. He can't sleep. He's gotten apology letters from the NFL for 4 of their losses because of blown calls. And for Gunther, you know, coming back next year, you figure he's going to be back with Carl Peterson getting the extension, 5-year extension. But he certainly would like to finish this year off on an up note. 3 straight wins, an 8-8 record. Looks a lot better than 7-9 and shows some promise for next year. Sauerbrunn. Tim Dwight, fair catch. Just outside the 10. A 40-yard punt and 29 seconds to play. And another reminder that the NASDAQ.com halftime report is coming up. Jim, Mike, and Randy will have the scores and highlights, all the latest playoff news, all coming up. The NASDAQ.com halftime report.
Man, you talk about Gunther Cunningham coming back next year. I think that teams really have to stick with a head coach for a couple of years and let him put his imprint on the team. And I think he's played a lot of young players this year. Started 2 rookies in the secondary. His nickel back is a rookie at wide receiver. They finally have to settle on a running back someday. But the changes that he's made, you have to take a chance. And he took a chance this year, and they played competitive. They were in a lot of close games, but it's all about winning and losing. But I still believe you've got to give a coach minimum 3 to 4 years in the NFL and support him with the players that he needs to give him a chance to succeed.
Well, he said he has tunnel vision, that he's going to coach. He can't worry about all the other things that he can't control, as Maurice Smith gets the carry and brings it out across the 15-yard line for a gain of 5.5, 6. Clock winding down here in the first half. Cunningham's team at 7-8, a 5-game losing streak cost them a chance at the postseason. Losses to Oakland, San Francisco, Buffalo, San Diego, and New England. And that's it for the first half from Atlanta. Falcons lead it 13-7. Jim Nantz will be back in the studio after this message and a word from your local station.
Tuesday on 60 Minutes 2, you might call what Lance Armstrong did amazing or even a miracle when you hear how he beat cancer. Tuesday at 9, 8 Central.
CBS Friday. Every time Dr. Richard Kimball saves a life, he risks his own.
Don't you hurt her!
Now's the perfect time to experience
I said hands up.
The Fugitive. And if you haven't seen the Golden Globe nominee for Best Drama, this is your chance to see how it all began.
I promise you, there is always a clue.
CSI, The Fugitive, Friday.
Who will be this year's favorites? Find out on The People's Choice, CBS January 7th.
Zone forecasting works because it provides you with accurate weather information wherever you live. On days when we're expecting, say, snow in Gladstone, but rain in Olathe, a single forecast just doesn't work. By breaking up our viewing area into forecast zones, I'm able to give you accurate weather information for your part of town. Zone forecasting. It's a better way to present the weather because it's a forecast for all our viewers.
time of year for all of us to feel closer. And that's just what Verizon Wireless is here for. Our family share plan has free unlimited calling between family members, free long distance, and 300 shared digital minutes for $20 a month per line. Plus, get 2 digital phones for the price of 1. Hurry to a Verizon Wireless communication store near you or call 1-866-2-JOIN-IN. Verizon Wireless. Join in.
5,000 vehicles, 10 days, 1 event. Your Midwest Ford dealer's year-end clearance, where you'll find a huge selection of new Ford cars and trucks priced to move. Get the best deal of the year on the North American Car of the Year, the 2000 Focus. Yours right now with 2.9 financing. But hurry, you'll only find deals this easy to handle for a limited time. 5,000 vehicles, 10 days, 1 event, year-end clearance. Going on now at your Midwest Ford dealer.
Been months and you haven't returned her phone calls. Why don't you just give her money back?
KCTV 5 News.
Halftime Report is sponsored by NASDAQ.com, the information source for the serious investor.
Happy holidays. Welcome to the NASDAQ.com Halftime Report. Jim Nance, Mike Ditka, Randy Cross. Halftime down at Atlanta. You've been watching this one, Randy. What's the story?
Well, so far, Atlanta Falcons have sort of decided they're not going to lay down for the Kansas City Chiefs. It's really been a deal where, besides all the empty seats, all the fans in Atlanta have decided they'd relish a Christmas shop. And Chris Chandler, you know, Craig talked earlier in the thing about Doug Flutie making a little audition tape the other night against Seattle. Chris Chandler's going to be a quarterback who's going to end up somewhere, too. But the Kansas City defense has dealt with him a little roughly the last few times. And a little throwback to Tony Gonzalez, who does his signature move at the end as he goes for his slam dunk. But the Falcons are still up 13-7.
All right, let's go around the league. The Jets and the Ravens. And the Jets came out without Brian Cox today, out with that broken leg. But no huddle attack early. Huge game here in Baltimore.
Well, they came out smoking is what they did. An opening drive of the game. Jets run the flea flicker. Quarterback Vinny Testaverde finds Derek Ward. Big touchdown, wide open. Then they come right back, 3rd and 1, and they go for the whole bunch. They get Richie Anderson, who's a Pro Bowl player. Really, watch his play make. Quick, fakes it, boom, stop. End zone, touchdown, 14-0. But here comes the Ravens. Great play by Dilfer. You got to give him a lot of credit for the play, just to be able to throw the ball.
But here, 4th and goal, Mike.
You can't blame the quarterback for that. The coach called that.
And they actually called pass plays on 3rd and 4th and goal.
2 in a row.
But the Jets got the ball, and the first snap, when they handed off Curtis Martin, he is sacked for a safety. Keith Washington and Michael McCreary stopping the ball carrier there for the safety. 14-12, that's your number you picked on the NFL today, Randy. 12 points. That's the max you said the Ravens could have if the Jets want to win.
Well, the Jets have more they want. The Jets have the lead, and that's what they got to keep the lead on Baltimore. They can't play from behind against this defense. If they got to start taking chances, Jets have no shot.
Of course, Jets and Miami and also Indianapolis later today, all kind of battling things out in the AFC East. And let's check out the Dolphins. Down big early, 14-3. Miami has stormed back to take the lead up at Foxborough. Got a little help on the sidelines running the audio for us from Santa.
It's 1st and goal, Jim. Tony Carter takes it in. That gives the Patriots a 7-3 lead. The Patriots, another team that didn't quite get the memo about not being able to play well against one of the better teams. Here, Bledsoe takes his time on the blitz, gets it to Kevin Falk. Longest play so far this year against that Miami defense. But Miami's defense, Jason Taylor intercepts the pass. It sets up Jay Fiedler on this play, hitting Hunter Goodwin for a 9-yard touchdown. The Patriots still lead 14-10. And then right here, Lamar Smith, 1-yard touchdown run. That's the difference, 17-14.
If Miami wins, the Dolphins will claim the AFC East. Meanwhile, Cincinnati playing at the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles trying to help their seeding situation. They're already in the playoffs.
Hey, I like this guy. This guy got the best job in town. Riding in. Watch what happens here. Strip the ball. One corner strips it. Bobby Taylor recovers it. And that's what the defense has done for the Eagles. They've been very resourceful. Great play. Donovan McNabb, a great pick. Great pick. Watch the catch. Watch the catch. Oh, my. Ooh. Charles Johnson, touchdown.
Some effort to reach the pylon. Eagles lead 10-0, 2-minute warning. Bears and the Lions. Boy, did the Rams need the Bears to win this one. They were down, well, first let's go Tampa Bay and Green Bay. Green Bay still has some hopes alive. And the Packers get a touchdown from Amon Green in that one, 7-0 to score. Okay, here we go. Bears were down 10-0, but they've got a couple of field goals from Edinger, including a 50-yarder, and it's 10-6. And Mike, a moment ago, we saw Charlie Batch hobble to the sidelines.
Yeah, the Bears are going to play tough, there's no question, but I don't know if they got enough offense, but they are playing tough.
All right, if the Lions were to lose that game and the Rams win in New Orleans, then St. Louis would make the playoffs And St. Louis is up 10-7, even though Kurt Warner was picked off and was run back for a touchdown. Fourth time this year that's happened to Warner. That's tops in the league.
Well, really, they're making the Rams play physical. That's the Saints game.
Hey, Washington had 13 first downs before the Cardinals even picked up one. It's 20-0 Washington. Now Arizona with a meager 4 first downs in the game. No effort, it looks like, at all.
Get the cars. The cars are packed in Arizona.
The cards are packed. Yep. I think you're right. We're going to send you back to Atlanta. Thanks for being with us on the NASDAQ.com Halftime Report.
CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ.com Halftime Report is sponsored by NASDAQ.com, the information source for the serious investor.
Ladies and gentlemen, check it out, John. Back by popular demand. Check it out, John. Are they crazy? Once again. Check it out, John. Automated on the fader. Check it out.
The NFL customized jersey. Choose any team, any name, any number. Call 1-877-NFL-SHOP.
I want you to get together.
Players! This is the game of football, giving you a shout-out. It's playoff time! Coaches get tricky. Big players make big plays, and the only thing a win can buy you is one more week. It's playoff time! You don't know if you're coming back to the top next year. You don't even know if you're coming back. So come on now, show me something! Sports. CBS Sports presentation of the NASDAQ.com Halftime Report is sponsored by NASDAQ.com, the information source for the serious investor.
Halftime in Atlanta, the Falcons leading the Chiefs 13-7. CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League will continue after this word from your local station.
Well, happy holidays from all of us at CBS.
I've been a department store Santa for 8 years.
Okay, guys, listen up. Kowalski, you got St. Joe. Niedermeyer, you got Hannibal.
Everybody wants a Lucky Town assignment. If you're Santa, it doesn't get any better.
Now we're going to draw to see who gets Lucky Town.
Want to send your loved ones to Lucky Town? Give them Scratchers tickets from the Missouri Lottery. They make great holiday gifts.
Santa, you don't look so good.
Don't worry about old Santa. He'll be just fine.
Price Chopper and the Chiefs take the field with these tailgate rates.
Assorted varieties of DiGiorno frozen pizzas are $4.99 each. Pillsbury Grand's biscuits are 4 for only $5. And assorted varieties of Keebler snack crackers are 2 for just $3. Extra savings with your Chopper Shopper card.
Everybody wants, everybody needs, everybody loves Chiefs and Chopper.
Tailgate rates at Price Chopper.
The just right size Dodge Durango comes with your choice of $1,000 cash allowance or low 4.9% APR financing for 60 months, which can save you $3,200. There's still time to give in to one last temptation.
Josh, I think we should see other people. It's the best thing for both of us. I can't give you what you need right now. I'm feeling smothered.
Introducing the new Cheesy Gordita Crunch from Taco Bell. It's cheesy, it's crunchy, it's spiked with zesty pepper jack sauce.
These things don't last forever.
Yeah, that's why I bought 2.
The new Cheesy Gordita Crunch. Get it at the Bell.
KCTV5, the home of Super Bowl 35.
Back at the Georgia Dome, getting you set for second half action. The Falcons leading the Chiefs 13-7. Welcome back, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Mark May. Hope you're having a great holiday already. And the new year just around the corner for the Falcons. Their offense has been invisible basically the last 2 months, but we've seen some shreds of success here in the first half, and Chris Chandler has done a pretty good job moving this football team.
Well, they don't look like a 3-12 football team at this point. Chris Chandler's moving the ball around effectively offensively. Jamal Anderson's running the ball inside, but particularly well outside, and their defense is playing a lot better, so it looks like they do have some ability to move the football and to stop Kansas City defensively also. Kansas
City has really exploded in recent weeks offensively. Last week had that running game going in the victory over Denver, but we just haven't seen it here today. Haven't been given that many chances. Atlanta's been able to use the clock up, and Kansas City has not taken advantage of the opportunities they have been given.
Well, they have to give the ball to Tony Richardson. Last week he was amazing for this Kansas City offense. He just haven't had the opportunities in this game. They've only had 17 offensive plays where Atlanta's had 37. That's a lot in the first half. You're not getting opportunities to put points on the board.
But this is a thumbnail sketch of who the Chiefs are. Inconsistent, really tough to get a read on. 1 week it looks like they can beat anybody in the NFL. Last week against Denver, earlier in the season when they knocked off St. Louis, and then the next week you look up and Gunther Cunningham's team is really not doing much on the offensive side of the ball, and defensively they've been spotty as well.
Well, they need a spark on both sides of the ball, and I think that they're going to get that at halftime from their head coach and Gunther Cunningham. As you stated, this team looked like one of the best teams in the NFL when they played St. Louis and Denver and crushed both of those teams. They just need that consistency week to week.
Mike Cloud on the return off the Anderson kick, and Cloud gets it out to the 20-yard line, brought down by Mark Simoneau. Halftime numbers look like this, and time of possession.
Wow.
Atlanta, nearly 22 minutes. Total yards, 152 for the Falcons. Kansas City did get their 1 touchdown, and they got it very quickly. Used up just a little over 2 minutes of action as Gerback hit Gonzalez. But it's the Chiefs trailing the Falcons 13-7 as we start play here in the third quarter. And a 1st and 10 for the Chiefs from the 20, a double tight end set. Gonzalez and Dunn. Gerback wants to throw it on 1st down. Wide open is Derek Alexander, and he is spun down out across the 27-yard line by Crockett. A gain of 7.
Now, for this team, after last week's performance running the football, I'm just shocked that they didn't come in here with the mentality that Tony Richardson, you're touching the ball 25 times. But what they've been able to do is move the ball around, get it to Derek Alexander, get it to Tony Gonzalez. And those are 2 keys on their offense. Very quietly, Sylvester Morris, the last couple of weeks, he's been shut down in this offense. He started off on fire when the season started off, but the last couple of weeks, and particularly today, no catches today.
And a 2nd and 3. Play action. Gerback has the time, throwing, finds a seam, but Alexander can't catch it. Incomplete.
And this is one of those passes that Tony Alexander catches in his sleep. And he knows that, and that's why he's upset about it. He tries to make a play before he catches the ball. Watch his hands and his legs. He's going to lunge towards the ball. It makes his curl right there, comes back. Now he's going to attack the ball, and he should just wait for the ball to come to him. Good protection by the offensive line. An easy point of view for quarterback Elvis Gerback to get the ball to his receiver, Derek Alexander.
On a 3rd and 3 now. First minute of play in the second half. Play fake, Gerback, rollout, moving pocket, and unable to make the connection to Alexander. Atlanta has done its job defensively, but they got a lot of help from Derek Alexander.
And the other part of this, I guess the second half is the Derek Alexander show. Let's just throw the ball to Derek Alexander and get him some yards, and he hasn't been able to come through, and he just goes across the field to play. That's a ball that hits his hands also. Ray Buchanan's right behind him, but that's a catchable ball for wide receiver Derek Alexander.
Back-to-back drops for Alexander, and Sauerbrunn is back on the field with Tim Dwight waiting at his own 41. Sauerbrunn will take the snap at the 11. Gets all of this one, and Dwight backpedals to the 22. Dwight with a spin move. Trying to get to the outside, and here's Dwight. Needs a block. Dwight looking for a lane, and he gets one. for the 39. Larry Atkins makes the stop as Tim Dwight hit the gap for a 17-yard return off the 51-yard punt. Falcons' first possession of the second half when we come back to the Georgia Dome.
Last.
Want to get away?
Oh.
Now you can. Fly Southwest Airlines coast to coast for $99 or less when you purchase tickets by January 16th and travel Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday.
You are now free to move about the country.
You heard about Benny the Bison?
No, what?
He never checked out the risk and overall performance of those mutual funds he bought.
Well, Benny's no brain surgeon, right?
When we created a smarter kind of investment firm, we created a smarter kind of investor with tools like the Schwab Select List, which highlights historically high-performing mutual funds. Visit schwabwelcome.com to order a free copy of the Select List.
You don't do your homework, you end up looking ridiculous.
Car and Driver ranked the Mazda Protege ES the #1 compact sedan, beating out Honda, Toyota, and Nissan in an extensive comparison test. But the experts didn't stop there. They say it offers BMW Verve for less than half the price, to which we can only add...
Christmas Day, gather the whole family and join Charlie Brown with the Peanuts Gang for the holiday classic you love.
I think it needs me.
What a way to kick off the night. A Charlie Brown Christmas, CBS Monday.
This telecast is copyrighted by the NFL for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or of any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
13:45 to play in the third quarter. Atlanta has a 13-7 lead on Kansas City. Now pick a section. Any section. Lounge out, enjoy some NFL football. Play action. Chandler into double coverage. Kansas City claims that it was incomplete, but Reggie Kelly brought it in. That's a pickup of 9. Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. No. It's Papa John's Bumps and Jumps, where many of the best aerialists and mogul skiers show off in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. That's coming up next on the CBS Sports Spectacular. 2nd and 1 now for the Falcons as they are inching closer to midfield. Kansas City has been listless here today, and it's been Atlanta that's been able to control the clock and the scoreboard so far. Anderson through the middle for the first down. Chester McLaughlin making the stop after the gain of 3 for Jamal Anderson out to midfield. Kansas City Chiefs have had success going on the road and winning in their regular season finale. Hey, did you want cartoons? We were going to empty the cart here today with cartoons.
Oh, I like that.
5 games on the road in the 90s to wrap up the season. 4 victories. Kurt Schottenheimer, the defensive coordinator for the Chiefs, and he's seen Atlanta do some things that the Falcons had not done in recent weeks. Bootleg. Little dart for Mathis. And a modest gain on first down. Donnie Edwards making the tackle.
It's got to be frustrating for Kurt Schottenheimer to play the Denver Broncos and just virtually crush their offense, shut them down in every facet of the game. And then you go on the road and you play a team like the Atlanta Falcons, where on paper and the way that they played the last 6 or 8 weeks, you think that they would be able to dominate week after week, but that's been the problem with this football team, is consistency.
Well, they've owned Denver. Gunther
Absolutely.
Cunningham
Yes.
is 4-0 against Mike Shanahan as a head coach.
He'd like to play Mike Shanahan probably 12 times a year.
On a 2nd and 9 now, the ball in Kansas City territory at the 49. Deep drop. Chandler again setting it up for Anderson. Has some blockers, and Anderson is across the 40. A new set of downs for Atlanta to work with. And Anderson is slow to get up. A gain of 10. Well, he got
knocked around. Yeah, he got knocked around. That's a ding.
And his name is coming off.
His name tag's coming off, but what a great job by Chris Chandler. It's not there first. There's the arm punk. He doesn't pump. He doesn't see Anderson open, holds on to it wisely, and comes back the second time, drops it off to Jamal Anderson, and he's smart enough to wait till his blockers get in place, follow them down the field to play, and pick up the first down for the Atlanta Falcons.
Well, Anderson got upset at Travis Claridge earlier, but not on that play, as Claridge with a good block up front to give Anderson some extra yardage on the screen. Now the pitch. Anderson runs into a brick wall. Chester McLaughlin. Jamal is going to be Jamal Ander in a little while, because it looks like that sun is coming off.
He's taking some big hits, and he's given a lot of big hits. And you look at Jamal Anderson, and it's great to see that he's finally getting back to the old Jamal Anderson. And I can't wait till next season when he comes back, and he has another year under his belt under that reconstructed knee of his. But the power that he has and his leg strength, if you look at his lower body down, he's built like an offensive lineman from the lower body down. Huge legs and thighs, but he's got enough speed to take it the distance.
You know, he was the one guy that stepped forward and said, hey, this is tough on the players, but it's tough on the fans. 8 winning seasons in 35 years of football. Chandler spinorama and finds Anderson to the sideline and lays out his own hit as he's forced out of bounds.
Wow.
Marcus Patton and James Hasty were there, and Anderson leaned the shoulder in on that one.
Watch how Jamal Anderson sets up his fullback Bob Christensen on this block. Bob Christensen's out in the flat. He's against Donnie Edwards right there. He's not there to block him. He just throws the move on him, and okay, Christensen finishes him off. What a tremendous move by a big man in Jamal Anderson. And Chris Chandler loves that. Hey, this is easy stuff. Attaboy. Oh, you should have taken it all the way.
Brings up 3rd and 1. Atlanta has had success on 3rd downs today. They lead it 13-7. In motion, Kozlowski. Handoff. Anderson trying to dart through, and it'll depend on the spot. It looks like enough. He circled Donnie Edwards to make sure he got to the marker, and a gain of 1.
You see the vision on that on Jamal Anderson? Donnie Edwards had him dead to right in the hole for a loss on the play. He makes a tremendous cut right at the point of attack and goes around Donnie Edwards. He still gets tackled by Donnie Edwards and Marcus Patton, but it's the cut that he makes in the hole. Allows him to pick up the first down.
A couple of California guys. Anderson out of El Camino, California, and Donnie Edwards grew up in Chula Vista, suburb of San Diego. Clock is moving, and Atlanta doing what they did in the first half, using up clock, long drive, and this play whistled dead before it happens. Clock stops, 8:45 to play in the 3rd. Falcons leading it 13-7. Atlanta trying to snap a 6-game losing streak. They won here at the Georgia Dome their opening week against San Francisco. They haven't won here since.
And that's tough on the fans. And we talked about it before. Jamal Anderson said it's tough on the fans. Yeah, it's tough on the fans, but he said no one's really come out and have been angry at him. They said, well, there's always next year. And he really takes that personally. Well, it's great for players. And he doesn't listen to some of the people that are in the stands, but you know, the people to him, he said face to face, no one said anything anymore.
Play clock runs down to 0, and yeah, you just hit on it. He said nobody had the guts to say anything to his face. There's a difference.
Play game, offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Yeah, if Jamal's in a restaurant or at the supermarket, the odds of somebody coming up to him and getting into his face and saying something derogatory about the Falcons is pretty slim.
Yeah, that would not be a wise decision. Because you know their record is not very good, and it's not a winning record. And this is a football team that still has a lot of pride and players with pride. And they went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. They know that they can do it.
They're 8-23, though, over the last 2 years after that great run to the Super Bowl, eventually losing to the Denver Broncos. Back to pass. Chandler bounced around like a pinball, and he's brought down at the 35 by John Browning. 3rd Kansas City sack of the afternoon. Atlanta gave up 5 sacks last week, and they've given up 61 now on the season. That's 3rd worst in the NFL.
You saw it in Chris Chandler's face shaking. He said, what do I have to do? I can't even get set. A quarterback at least has a chance to set in his drop and plant before he has to move. He's just barely getting back. Watch his feet. He's going back to set. Oh, I can't even set. I've got to get out of here. Pressure by Chester McLaughlin. Now there's nowhere to run. The defense just converges on him.
2nd and 17 for the Falcons. Split backfield. And a long count for Chandler. Draw play. Anderson Trying to shoot the gap, flag down. He comes up shy of the 30. Reggie Kelly may have been called on a hold, number 89, the tight end. And a 4-yard gain for Anderson.
No doubt about that.
Holding offense, number 89, by 10-yard penalty. Still second down.
Now the Falcons are moving in the wrong direction.
He had a bear hug around Eric Hicks on that play. It's tough a lot of times for a tight end to block down on a defensive end. If they don't have the proper angle, they need to get their shoulders low. Keep an eye right here. He just reaches out and brings him down. And you're always taught in the NFL, get your hips and your face in front of the defender when you're blocking him. If he runs to the left, you run to the left. If he runs to the right, you run to the right. But once he gets to your soft shoulder, get your hands away from him because you're going to be called for holding every time.
Now they're working on Anderson. Second time this season we've seen that name tag fall off. Eddie George last week.
I think the easiest way is just bring some super glue. Just slap it on there, push it down, and go from there.
Second and long, flag down and intercepted. Chandler has it picked off by Edwards. Kansas City, though, may have been drawn off sides for the 4th time today. We'll see what the call
Defense, offside, number 93, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, second down.
John Browning.
And that goes two things. One, the defense isn't paying attention to the ball. They're listening to Chris Chandler. And two, Chris Chandler's doing a great job bobbing his head right there and shoulders when he's giving out the snap count. That's a crafty quarterback. That's that smart quarterback play. And if you can get a defense that's on their toes that are trying to fire off the ball that's very aggressive, you can get them a handful of times in a game.
So instead of a turnover, it turns into a 2nd and 22 from the 40. And that clock continues to roll as we approach the 6-minute mark of the 3rd. Dwight in motion. Chandler wants to throw it. Little flip for Bob Christian. And Christian is tripped up across the 30-yard line, making up a chunk of the yardage they've lost on penalties. 10 yards on the hookup. William Barty, the tackle. And it sets up 3rd and 12.
And what's impressive about this team, and Jack Burns is the wide receiver coach, but he calls the plays, is they're a very good screen team. You don't see a lot of teams in the NFL that are good screen teams anymore because you've got 330-pound offensive linemen that don't want to run and don't like to run. But teams that can successfully execute the screens, that's easy yardage, 10, 12 yards every time you throw it.
And Christian's a good receiver coming out of the fullback position, the former Bear, former Carolina Panther. Play action. Chandler, guns, over the middle. It's Christian again, and he gets wrapped up. At the 25, it'll be well short of a first down. Had to get across the 19-yard line. Marcus Patton was able to sniff that one out in a gain of 6. And we'll see Morton Anderson once again trying to add to Atlanta's 13-7 lead.
And for Morton Anderson, and you know I pick on a lot of the kickers in the NFLs because I played with a lot of kickers and they really didn't do much. But if you look at Morton Anderson, he's a guy you have to respect. Been around a long time. He puts them right through the uprights. And if you're an offensive lineman and you battle 40 yards for 25 plays and you take 11 minutes off the clock and a kicker comes in for one play, 1.3 seconds and kicks, everybody wants to congratulate the kicker. Nobody congratulates the guys that have been out there.
42-yard field goal. Straight through for Anderson. And the Falcons have something to show for their long drive. Santa likes it. 16-7. Falcons in front of the Chiefs.
Where you going? Where you going? Give it to me. Give it to me. Oh, gotcha. Now, this is how the glove do it. Give my ball back. Well, then take your ball in. Yeah, the glove. Did you see it? Me, mostly me. This is my domain. The glove. Hey, hold on, man. You ain't gonna be disrespecting me like that. When I ain't looking, huh? Oh, boy, that's something else.
Turning good friends into better ones. Turning new friends into old ones. Turning distant friends into closer ones. Turning Leaf.
You don't have to buy a ticket for the biggest movie events of the year because CBS is bringing them to a television near you. Only the #1 movie network will bring you superstars in once-in-a-lifetime roles. blockbusters that are out of this world. Julie Andrews in a Live on Golden Pond movie, and Matthew Modine in Jim Henson's Jack and the Beanstalk. You bring the popcorn, we'll do the rest. It's all here every CBS Sunday, America's Night at the Movies.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of the Super Bowl. Nike Shocks, Boeing thoroughly experienced and explained on Nike.com. And by Turning Leaf, it's turning into a very good time for wine. The new vintage of Turning Leaf is here.
(16-7), Atlanta leading Kansas City. 4:41 to play in the third. Get your feet off the furniture, sir.
I mean, come on. You paid for your season tickets. What do you think? You can take advantage of 3, 4, 5 seats?
Man. Mike Cloud from the goal line. Kansas City needs a spark of some sort. And apparently it's not going to come here. Cloud is brought down at the 16-yard line by Gerald McBurrows. Falcons with a lead. Gunther Cunningham discussed it.
It's always special when you bring your first one home. Chrysler Voyager, re-engineered and redesigned with dual sliding doors and over 45 standard safety and security features. It's the most affordable minivan you can buy. Now get $750 cash allowance on a Consumer's Digest Best Buy.
I can't do anything without the instructions. Nothing.
It's okay. She's got other presents.
They were just here. They were right here. I just had them.
We'll just hide this till her birthday.
She's been wanting this for a long time. If I only had those instructions.
You looked in the box?
I looked in there.
Did you take everything out of it?
Oh, here they are.
West Coast offense, here to show you something.
I want you to get to him.
Set, red 98, red 98, hot, hot.
The NFL today shows you everything you need to know about the playoffs on CBS.
Atlanta with a lead, 4.5 remaining in the third quarter. Kansas City has the football, a 1st and 10. And the ball spotted just shy of the 17. Richardson and Monroe are in the backfield, but Kansas City will throw it. Gerback fires underneath, and a gain of 2 to Tony Richardson. Ian Eagle, Mark May with you during this holiday season, and hope you're having a great holiday so far. You know, everybody always asks me, what do spotters and stat people look like? Here you go, right here.
2 of the best in the business.
Here's your stat guy, here's your spotter. Dave Freed, Jim Stamos. There's a reason why we don't show them on camera all that often.
That's the reason.
You just found out. You just got some inside TV. Gerback is sacked by Brady Smith. And the Atlanta Falcons gaining confidence as this game goes on. It's funny, Terrence Mathis told us that they seem to lose confidence. They just wait for bad things to happen. Not today.
And John Tate just gets beat to the inside. He's sitting down. He has bad position for an offensive tackle. His left leg should be farther back. His right leg should be bent. He was reaching on the play. Brady Smith just took him inside and beat him.
And a 3rd and 14 now for Kansas City. Their offense has been basically invisible. Gerback to the flat, and Tony Richardson is chased out of bounds short of a 1st down. He's out at the 18-yard line. Ashley Ambrose there with the coverage, a gain of 5. Kansas City's punting again.
And this offense needs a spark, obviously. I think they should go back to the rollouts with Elvis Gerback, the trick play and the screen underneath to tight end Tony Gonzalez. Get him back into the offense, spread them out a little bit, put them in formation, put pressure on the defense. They can't stay stagnant where they are and just dump the ball off to the running back because they're getting in trouble this way. They need some scores in this way. They need to stretch the defense and then take their shots down the field. Get it to Sylvester Morris. You threw to him once today. Go back to him.
2 men deep on the punt. Tim Dwight is the deeper of the two. Winslow Oliver the up man. And here's Dwight from the 30. Juke move, throws it back to Oliver. Oliver looking for some running room down the sideline. And forced out of bounds at the 35. Some razzle-dazzle. And Falcons fans making some noise at the Georgia Dome. Dwight to Winslow Oliver. Falcons leading it.
While most people struggle just to get through the winter, Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo owners seem to get over it pretty easily. This is the season to visit your local Jeep dealer.
6 weeks before one of the biggest games of my life, I felt a strange pain in my chest. What my doctor found was my toughest opponent yet. 3 of my arteries were more than 90% blocked. After recovering from surgery, lowering my high cholesterol became more important than football. Later, I was fortunate enough to coach my team in the biggest game of the season. That's the kind of play we need. Along with a healthy diet and regular exercise, taking Zocor every day helps significantly lower my total cholesterol.
Zocor is a prescription medication and is not right for everyone, including women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant, or people with liver problems. Your doctor may do blood tests to check for liver problems, because serious side effects can result. Tell your doctor about any muscle pain or weakness you experience while on Zocor and about any medicines you are taking.
When diet and exercise are not enough, talk to your doctor about Zocor. Take care of yourself. It's your future. Be there.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by IBM, taking e-business and your business to the next level. And by Zocor. Talk to your doctor about Zocor today.
Winslow Oliver with a run all the way to the Kansas City 35-yard line. Tim Dwight threw it to him after catching it cleanly off the punt. And now Atlanta has a 1st and 10 in Kansas City territory. They're leading it 16-7. Chandler steps up, throws, good timing pattern, and Christian dropped it. Take another look on special teams.
Well, head coach Dan Reese have a history of the special plays and the trick plays, but his special teams coach Joe DeCamille and Tim Dwight do an outstanding job of setting this play up, and the rest of the special teams, because he gets great blocking at the point of attack here that allows him to turn and throw the ball to Winslow Oliver. Now he's got blockers out in front of him, but he outruns his blockers to the left. If he stays behind his blockers, he can pick up bigger yardage, but Tim Dwight does a great job. He sees the coverage team in his face, stops at the last minute, throws the ball to Winslow Oliver, and they get the big play.
They haven't even unleashed Derek Vaughn, the rookie out of Southwest Texas, who I was excited about seeing. Up the middle, Jamal Anderson. Inside the 15. Jerome Woods with a tackle, a 22-yard burst.
This is Jamal Anderson at his best. Picture perfect, straight ahead, right behind the center. Even Pilgrim, Calvin Collins, the left guard. He goes downhill and attacks the defense and doesn't get touched until he gets to the secondary to the free safety and Jerome Woods.
Down to the 13-yard line, and Anderson is inching closer to the 1,000-yard mark for the 4th time in his NFL career. Under 2 minutes to play now in the 3rd. 1st and 10 for the Falcons. Draw play. Anderson. And tackled shy of the 5. 7-yard gain. Marcus Patton with a stop.
I'll tell you what, Jamal Anderson is running with a head of steam. He's not tippy-toeing out there. He's running downhill, lowering his shoulder, and he's splattering the pile.
You know, Anderson has talked about the free agents and making sure that Atlanta takes care of Whitfield and Buchanan and Crockett. He wants to keep this core group together. He feels like they can still turn this thing around. And, hey, listen, the way the NFC West has worked in recent years, why not?
Every year, the last 5 years, there's been a different NFC West champion.
On a 2nd and 3. Anderson pushing his blocker, forcing his way forward, and the Chiefs move him back. A gain of 1. Greg Wesley. The stop.
They just came with a power roll here. Watch the left. The right guard's going to pull. That's Travis Claridge to get to the hole. Now make a block. Don't tippy-toe. If there's nothing there, you're close to the goal line, go in there and splatter. That's probably one of the reasons why the last time they got in the goal line area, Jamal Anderson was yelling at Travis Claridge because he needs to make a decision, because if he pitter-patters in the hole, it's difficult for the back to make a decision. Just go out there and clean it out, and I'll make my own decision.
3rd and a short 2. Winding down here in the 3rd quarter. Chandler throws, deflected and leveled. Incomplete. Anderson pops off the turf, and he had some words for Marvcus Patton, who gave him another stick.
Wow. You don't want to go across the middle of that field with Marvcus Patton out there. That is no man's land. And if you come across her, he will knock your head off, whether you have the ball or not. Right here. Wham!
Ooh, hit the official on his way there.
He's got a duck.
Oh. Just raised him, and then Anderson.
I'll tell you what, this shot is it's very close to a head-to-head shot. I'd like to see that again. I know Marvcus Patton was trying to hit with his shoulder, but both of them were going down on the play.
23-yard field goal attempt. Anderson is 3 for 3 today. And Anderson puts 3 more on the board. Falcons now with a 19-7 lead on the Chiefs. Will return to the Georgia Dome after this.
Get the power of 3, the Intel Pentium 3 processor.
This is my killer DVD system.
This is my killer DVD rental section.
You have the hardware, Blockbuster has the software. We have more DVDs to rent than ever, and you like your DVD rental guaranteed. The best way to DVD is Blockbuster.
Rent Road Trip this week at Blockbuster. 4 friends embark on the greatest college tradition of all time.
Any guys out there who are just normal?
Road Trip, starring Tom Green, rated R. Rented on DVD or VHS this week at Blockbuster. Open Christmas Day.
Mr. Roberts called and wanted to take money out of his account.
Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I am ready to trade online.
Now, I said, you know, we can do that for you.
Wait a minute, Fidelity? Trading? You mean brokerage?
I told him, sure, just go to Power Street at Fidelity.com.
Fidelity.com, the site ranked highest in investor satisfaction by J.D. Power and Associates.
Sounds like everything I've been looking for.
Oh, and one more thing. When you're ready to try wireless trading, you let us know.
To invest, call, click, or visit Fidelity.
When America celebrates its favorite artists at the Kennedy Center, the house will be rocking. Join Goldie Hawn, Glenn Close, and Little Richard for a night of spectacular performances as they pay tribute to Clint Eastwood, Angela Lansbury, rocker Chuck Berry, and more.
I love that rock and roll music.
The Kennedy Center Honors, CBS Wednesday.
During that timeout, Dan Reeves very upset with the officials that there was no flag on the play. Helmet-to-helmet contact from Marvcus Patton to Jamal Anderson.
And he should be. He was in a defenseless position. Marvcus Patton leveled him on the play. I'm sure he didn't want to go crown to crown and helmet to helmet, but he did on the play.
Kansas City on the return. And Kimball Landers able to cross the 20-yard line and take it up to the 23. 22-yard return. Monday on CBS, gather the whole family. Join Charlie Brown and the Peanuts gang for the holiday classic that you loved. What a way to kick off the night. A Charlie Brown Christmas. That's Monday on CBS. Merry Christmas, everybody. Here from Atlanta, Georgia. 5 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter. And the Falcons leading the Chiefs 19-7. Gerback to throw. Sideline route brought in by Alexander, and a first down for Kansas City as he is brought down at the 46. End of the 3rd, Falcons 19, Chiefs 7. We'll come back after this word from your local station.
It's playoff time, so come on now, show
to show you something.
The playoffs on CBS.
Happy holidays from all of us at CBS.
5,000 vehicles, 10 days, one event. Your Midwest Ford dealer's year-end clearance, where you'll find a huge selection of new Ford cars and trucks priced to move. Get a best-selling 2000 F-150 with a super cab and four-wheel drive, now with $1,500 cash back or low 1.9 financing. Or get $750 cash back plus a $500 commercial rebate on Super Duty. 5,000 vehicles, 10 days, one event. Year-end clearance going on now at your Midwest Ford dealer.
Price Chopper and the Chiefs take the field with tailgate rates.
Everybody wants, everybody needs, everybody loves Chiefs and Chopper. Everybody wants, everybody needs, everybody loves Chiefs and Chopper.
Tailgate rates at Price Chopper.
Hi, I'm Tony Gonzalez of the Kansas City Chiefs. They say pro athletes play with pain, but pain is nothing to play with. It deserves serious treatment, the kind you get at the Headache and Pain Center. The center's doctors are board-certified specialists in pain management. They even trained at the Mayo Clinic. So when it comes to treating your pain problem, believe me, they won't play around.
Headache and Pain Center. It's all in the way we treat you.
Hi, Mom.
KCTV5, the home of Super Bowl 35.
Final game of a Hall of Fame career for Warren Moon. Led the Houston Oilers to 7 straight postseasons as their starting quarterback. Gerback throwing and complete to Lockett. Into Atlanta territory and brought down at the 38-yard line by Derek Vaughn. 16 yards through the air. And a first down for the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, there was a feeling that they'd like to get Moon into the game in the fourth quarter, but if they're trailing, they're going to stick with Elvis Gerback and try to win this thing.
Absolutely. With their no-huddle offense, they're trying to shake up their offense.
Breaking a tackle. Richardson sidestepping another. And the first rushing yards of the second half for the Kansas City offense as Tony Richardson gets it across the 30-yard line for a gain of 10 and a new set of downs.
Man, I think this is a great move by offensive coordinator Jimmy Ray. The team needs a spark. The offense has been stagnant the entire day. Go to the no-huddle offense. See if we can move the football. We've got to get our guys alive on the football field. Right now, we're dead.
First and 10 from the 27. Gerback throws it in the air into double coverage, and Lockett was covered well. Incomplete. Vaughn and Bradford, the two defenders on the play. It'll be second and 10, and the clock stopped with 14:04 to play. Here in the fourth, Atlanta 19, Kansas City 7.
I'll tell you what, for Warren Moon, and I played in a Pro Bowl with Warren Moon. He went to 9 Pro Bowls, and the things he's been able to accomplish over here, 49,325 yards, that's third in the NFL. But if you add in his CFL yards, it's over 70,000. 5 Grey Cups, consecutive Grey Cups in the Canadian Football League. And just for the things he's been able to do on the football field. And one is really stay healthy. 23 years at the quarterback position. He's never really had a major injury to knock him out for a year. So.
Second and 10 from the 27. Blitz coming. Gerback loses the football and gobbled up by Grunhard. Looked like his arm was forward on the play.
We'll take another look at it. The offensive line needs to hold up. Here comes the blitz. A linebacker blitz, a safety blitz, and a late trail dog, a double blitz. And Elvis Gerback just gets hit.
No, he lost the ball on.
Yeah, he didn't have a good grip on the ball. There it is, it's gone.
Absolutely. Brady Smith was able to get there and knock it free. And fortunately for Kansas City, they recovered it without any damage. In fact, they gained a yard on a 3rd and 9 now. Chiefs offense. No consistency here today, and the play clock winding down. Kansas City forced to use a timeout. 13:16 left in the fourth. Gunther Cunningham, he's become accustomed to this throughout the season.
Hey guys, give me a hand carrying this stuff up to the 3rd floor.
Love to, but we're late for this thing.
Yeah, sorry.
That's cool.
You know, those stairs are kind of tricky.
Yeah. Oh, I got this. That's it. Mind if we help ourselves to some of your underwear?
For the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down.
I don't need you guys to help me unpack.
Make it a Bud Light.
Give me my phone. I want to check my email.
No.
Give it to me.
No.
Give me my phone.
No. No.
I was home, homeward bound. Oh, when the music's
New MSN Explorer. Everything you need to feel at home on the web, all in one place. Now MSN is faster than ever. Get new MSN high speed at Radio Shack today.
If you think you know Dikembe Mutombo on the basketball court, wait until you meet him off the court with Ed Bradley tonight on 60 Minutes.
19-7 Atlanta. Get a real good look at your brother's facial pores.
I see you.
Up close and personal with the binoculars. And now a 3rd and 9 off the timeout for Kansas City. Gerback comfortable in the pocket, airs it out to the end zone and incomplete. Sylvester Morris had about a step on Ambrose, who closed in at the end. And Kansas City faces 4th down.
Going back to this pass, Sylvester Morris, I think a veteran receiver would have pushed on this and fought for the ball. Here he just runs stride for stride with Ambrose. He's got an arm on the inside. But a veteran receiver, a taller receiver, Derek Alexander, I think, would have had the insight to at least go over the shoulder and try to make that play.
Todd Peterson has connected on his last 9 attempts. This will be his longest field goal of the season if he can make it. And he cannot. Cunningham's team leaves points on the field. And the Kansas City Chiefs can't get out of their own way offensively today. Yeah, Warren Moon's still into it.
Seattle is surrounded by water. And then it rains. And that means car accidents. When that happens, are you going to have a State Farm agent who knows you personally? Or are you going to have no agent and hope for the best?
Over 16,000 State Farm agents.
Our rates are very competitive.
It's no accident. They insure more cars than anyone else.
I'm going to be getting some calls today.
Wiring the school for the internet is a big job.
You might get some floor damage with the backhoe.
The dumpsters are green. They're nice, like nature. Hello?
There's a hard way to bring the internet to your school and an easy way, the wireless way with the Dell True Mobile Wireless Computer Lab. It stores up to 35 notebook computers that are wireless internet ready, turning every classroom into an interactive technology center.
Can you pay cash?
Wireless internet, made easy with Dell.
Dell Latitude notebooks use Intel Pentium 3 processors.
Losing your hair? It's a thing in my family. Suddenly I'm 30. I'm seeing hair here and hair there. I'm bumming. What did I expect? Thanks, Dad. So a year ago, I broke with tradition. Started using Rogaine.
Rogaine. It's the only one clinically proven to work directly on the scalp to help stop hair loss.
Look, nothing here, nothing here. It's all here. Rogaine broke the family curse.
Rogaine. Stronger than heredity.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dell. Rogaine Extra Strength for Men. And by NASDAQ.com, who can tell you more about stocks than the stock market.
Falcons have a 19-7 lead. They're trying to finish the year off at 4-12. The Chiefs with a chance to finish off at 500, but it looks bleak right now. Handoff. Jamal Anderson trying to turn the corner, and he picks up 3 yards. Marcus Patton with another stop. And Patton, who's been a tackling machine, not only in his 2 years with Kansas City, but in previous stints with the Redskins and the Buffalo Bills, makes another stop on the sideline.
You know what I really like about guys like Marcus Patton? They come with a lunchbox every single day. every day of practice, every game, never misses, and they're accountable. A lot of the guys that are making millions of dollars in the NFL, a lot of them don't play with Knicks anymore, and that really troubles me. The guys like Marcus Patton, old school. They'll come to play every single day.
2nd and 7 now for Atlanta, leading it 19-7. Draw play. Anderson finds an opening and extends his body for the first down. Travis Claridge with a block and a gain of 8.
That's a heck of a number. 21-3. I think Dan Reeves ought to just hand him the ball every game, 24, 25 times, and see what happens.
Numbers can be misleading, though. When you get down 14, 17, 20 to nothing, you just can't give Anderson the football anymore. They'll stack 8 in the box and force you to throw it.
But if I've got a big, powerful back like that, they can put 8, 9 in the box. I want to make sure that he's going to pound on him enough to show me that they can stop him.
New set of downs for Atlanta. Mathis in motion. Play fake. Chandler out for Christian. Breaks one tackle, but then is met at the 49. Edwards and Wesley were there for Kansas City, but the Atlanta Falcons continue to move the football. Now, this is a team that had gone 7 straight games scoring 14 points or fewer.
That's anemic. And things must go down the drain for a team psychologically. I've been in those positions where you just can't score and you can't win games, and it's tough to battle back. At the end of my career in Arizona and San Diego, we couldn't win football games. You know, guys at the end of the season, last game of the year, there's a couple of guys out there, their cars are running. They want to make sure they're warm after the end of the game.
Short drop. Chandler. Good pattern by Jefferson, and he cuts it to the outside for a first down. They'll move the chains. That's a gain of 7. And that's something that Henri Crockett told us coming out of training camp. Everybody was positive on this team. They went 4-1 in the preseason. They felt good. Started 2-1 in the regular season. Then a landslide hit this team. In 1998, he said it didn't matter how far they would get down in games. They always felt that they would come from behind, and the reverse was true this year. Crockett had some interesting things to say in our meetings yesterday.
Absolutely. And that's a psychological edge and that mental part of playing. You can have some of the best athletes. If you look at the Washington Redskins, some of the million-dollar talent, and they just can't do it as a team.
On first down, draw play. Anderson is met and dropped for a loss of 1. Chester McLaughlin, first man there.
And I thought it was funny when we talked to Jamal Anderson in the meeting. He said, I'm going to play a little player personnel director. We should draft an offensive lineman, then another offensive lineman, then go on free agency and sign an offensive lineman. But most importantly, we need to sign Bob Whitfield. I don't care who he talks to. He told us every day he makes it a point to talk to Whit and to tell everybody, sign Bob Whitfield. Sign Bob Whitfield. He's our best lineman.
And Dan Reeves seems confident that a deal will get done sooner than later. Now a 2nd and 12 as officially Anderson lost 2 yards. Chandler over the middle. Reggie Kelly cutting it back and getting to the 40-yard line. Donnie Edwards with a stop. And Kelly a little bit slow to get up. Scores from around the league. Baltimore has come from behind against the Jets. New England trying to hold off Miami, making things interesting in the AFC. NFC still very much up in the air with Detroit now trailing Chicago and St. Louis leading New Orleans. So the Rams, after that Monday night loss to Tampa Bay, still might get in.
And how about Tampa Bay? Weather's cold in Green Bay. They're losing 14-0.
Can't win there. Cannot win in cold weather situations. That's been proven. On 3rd and 6. Knocked up in the air and almost intercepted by Pat Dennis. Clemens was the man that deflected it at the line of scrimmage. And 4th down for the Falcons.
And for Dwayne Clemens, he's just going to pull around on a stunt. He's going to be off the line of scrimmage. He's just going to stick his paw right there. He doesn't even get close to the line, past the line of scrimmage. Doesn't get a rush. They try to run a stunt, didn't get penetration, but he had the wherewithal to stick his hand out there and bat the ball.
Just the 2nd Atlanta punt of the day, Dan Straczynski, who's been a consistent punter. Great hang time, benefiting from the dome. And Kevin Lockett is waiting. Straczynski trying to pin the Chiefs back inside the 20, angles it, and does a great job of doing so. They will down it at the 3. Maybe even the 2. Atlanta with a lead.
They opened the doors of the internet to a new kind of store, changing the way we shop and buy. Starting as the world's largest internet bookstore, Amazon.com's focus on service was key to becoming the world's largest internet everything store. Now serving 25 million customer accounts in over 200 countries. Satisfaction a must. Where do you find the companies that are shaping the future? Exactly. NASDAQ, stock market for the digital world.
Inevitably, there will come a time in your life when you realize you need a cell phone. And when that time comes, we'll be here.
A chunky Super Bowl moment. Kurt Warner's mom filled him up right with Campbell's Chunky New England Clam Chowder. Now heartier than ever with bigger chunks of clams. Never did a clam do so much for a ram.
After over 10 years, we still have a no-hassle, no-haggle pricing policy at Saturn. We don't yell offers from the highest tree. We don't play games. And we don't have promotions every other week. But that doesn't mean we don't compete.
Lease a 2001 Saturn SL1 for $199 a month for 39 months with zero due at lease signing. Call for lease details.
Samantha, here we go.
Meet Ernie Els. He's a regular guy just like you. Some days aren't as easy as others. Sometimes he too has to improvise. He's just like you. Except for the fact he won 2 majors by age 27 and can crush 320-yard drives. Other than that, he's just like you.
8:44 to go in the fourth quarter, and the Atlanta Falcons with a 19-7 edge on the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs offense has done very little. Now they're asking themselves to go 98 yards for a touchdown to try to get back into this game. And a 3-yard gain up the middle for Richardson, tackled by Sean Sueda. Don't forget, the Subway postgame show is coming up. Jim, Mike, and Randy will have the scores and highlights. Latest playoff news as the smoke begins to clear a bit. It's coming up on the Subway postgame show right here on CBS. Clock is moving. 8:15 to go in the fourth. Kansas City was trying to finish the season off on a strong note, a 3-game winning streak. They have some work to do as Kevin Lockett is tripped up, and a flag down as he gets the first down. Lockett out to the 15-yard line and a gain of 10. Derek Vaughn, the tackle. And we'll see what the penalty marker is against Atlanta.
Holding. Defense number 25. Penalty is declined. First down.
It's Marty Carter on Tony Gonzalez, and he's waving to anybody who would pay attention that he was held on a plane right there. He's got the grips on him. Past the 5-yard area. And Tony Gonzalez is just so difficult to cover. You put a safety on him, he's too big and physical. You put a linebacker on him, he's too fast for him. He's the added dimension to this offense. They need to feed him the ball.
They did early. And quarterback is level. Coughs up the football. Marty Carter hit him. Derek Vaughn recovers it.
What a beautiful call by defensive coordinator Rich Brooks. It's a backside blitz. Elvis Grbac has his back turned. There's no way in the world he sees it coming, and he doesn't. That's why Marty Carter nails him, forces the fumble. They come up with a big play. Look at his backside. He needs to go to the line of scrimmage and look to his left and right to read out the defense. He did a terrible job of reading the defense because he didn't know where the safeties were.
Second sack of the season for the strong safety Carter, and the first fumble recovery for Derek Vaughn in his NFL career. And the Falcons now with a first and goal from the 8. Already in front, 19-7. Chandler on the toss. Here's Anderson waiting for the blockers. Anderson hits the hole and picks up a couple. Anderson moving closer to that 1,000-yard level.
I think it's funny about Jamal Anderson. He doesn't care if the wide receivers are out in front of him and Sean Jefferson trying to block him. If he's not going to get an opening, he's going to run over everybody. Doesn't matter if you're on the other side, the Kansas City Chiefs. If you're on your own side, you better get out of the way or you better make a block or he's just going to run over.
You know, one thing that was interesting that came out of Anderson's mouth, he said, we've got a great bunch of guys here. I just wish we were a better football team so we could keep this group together.
He said no wholesale changes. We just need a couple of players here or there.
Second and goal. Chandler, pump fake. Chandler looks, guns, touchdown! Brian Kozlowski. Falcons fans have had little to cheer about in the year 2000, but the ones that have come out to the Georgia Dome today, they've enjoyed themselves.
Even Dan Reeves with a smile on that play, because this play is designed to go to Jamal Lewis. Keep an eye on this. This is where Chandler wants to go. The offensive line, they maintain their blocks, and Chandler's able to read the defense, stay in the pocket, stay with his receivers, and Brian Kozlowski, the tight end, just trails to the back of the end zone. He gets it to the touchdown.
And Morton Anderson with the extra point. Yeah, who knows if this will be the final game for Chris Chandler. Not a bad way for him to go out as the Atlanta Falcons quarterback, if indeed the Falcons go in a different direction next year.
This is my killer DVD system.
This is my killer DVD rental section.
You have the hardware, Blockbuster has the software. We have more DVDs to rent than ever, and you like your DVD rental guaranteed. The best way to DVD is Blockbuster.
Rent Road Trip this week at Blockbuster. 4 friends embark on the greatest college tradition of all time.
Any guys out there who are just normal?
Road Trip, starring Tom Green, rated R. Rented on DVD or VHS this week at Blockbuster. Open Christmas Day.
After over 10 years, we still have a no-hassle, no-haggle pricing policy at Saturn. We don't yell offers from the highest tree. We don't play games. And we don't have promotions every other week. But that doesn't mean we don't compete.
Lease a 2001 Saturn SL1 for $199 a month for 39 months with 0 due at lease signing. Call for lease details.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Blockbuster, bringing entertainment home. And by Saturn, now with 2 distinctively different car lines, the L Series and S Series.
Second touchdown of the season for tight end Brian Kozlowski. That after the turnover, Elvis Gerback coughing the football up. The sack by Marty Carter. Offensive line for Kansas City had not allowed a sack in 3 straight games. They've given up 2 today. Anderson kicking off. Larry Parker has been inserted, trying to make something happen from the 4. This is Mike Cloud. And Cloud crosses the 20-yard line out to the 23. 19-yard return. Well, the Stars turn out for a night of spectacular performances as America pays tribute to Clint Eastwood, Angela Lansbury, Chuck Berry, and more. Don't miss the Kennedy Center Honors Wednesday here on CBS. Dan Reeves has 1 more year left on a 5-year contract. He's made it clear he wants to come back in his dual role and wants to try to finish this thing off on an up note as Gerback is hit again. Brady Smith again knocks the ball loose. This time it's Tony Richardson recovering the loose ball.
Brady Smith's had a big day, and Elvis Gerback's getting up a little slow, a little gingerly. But he's had a big day against John Tate, and the coaches and players in unison were raving on what a great game John Tate had last week in their rush offense. But he needs to get it together on their pass offense. He's one-on-one on the outside. He just gets thrown to the ground by Brady Smith. He goes over the top, makes a play on quarterback Elvis Gerback.
Brady Smith signed as a free agent from the New Orleans Saints. He's a guy that's pretty quick off the edge, and he's given John Tate some trouble here today. 2nd and 10. On the toss, Richardson turns it upfield and is banged from behind as he crosses the 25. Gerald McBurrows and Mark Simoneau make the stop. And the scores from around the NFL: Baltimore extending its lead, New England as well extending its lead. Philadelphia is going to go into the postseason a winner. Green Bay just trying to stay alive. Gerback. Wide open. And Kevin Lockett takes a hit. It's a first down for Kansas City. Out to the 37-yard line. 13 yards on the pass and catch. Ronnie Bradford with a hit. Lockett, a free agent for Kansas City. One of the guys that they'll have to focus in on and make a decision.
I think a lot of decisions on both teams. And Carl Peterson, he's going to have to make a lot of decisions with his Kansas City football team.
Gerback is dropped. Back at the 32. Travis Hall. As mentioned, this offensive line had been very solid over the past month, and Gunther Cunningham has seen some problems. And Patrick Kearney, second year out of Virginia, holding that left wrist.
And the rush comes from the offensive right and the left, and both ends really put pressure on the quarterback in this situation. Elvis Gerback has no place to run with the ball. He has to take the hit. 2nd and 17.
Gerback steps up, throws on the run. It's Gonzalez finally getting back involved in the offense. And it's good for about 4 yards. Chuck Wiley steps in for Patrick Kearney on that defensive line, Mark.
And I talked to defensive coordinator Rich Brooks for the Atlanta Falcons. He said one of his main concerns were to make sure Elvis Gerback does not break contain. Last week, 38 yards rushing. The week before, he had a bunch of yards rushing. Over 60 yards in the last 2 weeks rushing. They want to make sure that they pressure him on the outside, but the push gets to him on the inside where he cannot screen.
On 3rd and 8, they've done a good job of it so far. Forced to throw it on the run, and incomplete. Richardson matched up with linebacker Mark Semino, rookie out of Kansas State from Smith Center, Kansas, going against the Chiefs. NFL Today update. We go to New York right now, and Jim Nantz.
All right, thank you, Ian. Only one spot open in the NFC, and the Lions can claim it with a victory. Detroit leads on a Stoney Case touchdown run at the start of the 4th quarter, and 9 minutes to go in that game. Chicago possession in its own territory. Rams need a win and a Lions loss. They lead in the 4th quarter. Let's go back to you.
On 4th down, Gerback. Incomplete. Gonzalez matched up with Mick Burrows. He juggled it, could not bring it in. And the Kansas City Chiefs have turned it over on downs.
Heck of a job by Gerald McBurrow's coverage on Tony Gonzalez, but the hit by Ronnie Bradford. The safety blitz, a trail dog. There's your linebacker, Semino. There's Bradford right there, putting the shot on quarterback Elvis Gerback.
Atlanta takes over, and the bags have been lifted. No longer are the fans anonymous. Sometimes all it takes is one victory.
Oh, that got me.
You're a big fan of the Unknown comic, weren't you?
Yes, I was. Oh, I love that. I thought that was hilarious.
Well, if you're laughing at that, then I can only imagine what that show used to do to you. 26-7 Atlanta. And now they'll use up as much clock as possible. Trying to get Anderson his 1,000 yards. And he crosses the 40 for a gain of 3. And that will do it. 1,000 yards on the season for Jamal Anderson. 4th time he's done it in his NFL career, and quite a tribute considering what he went through last year. A knee injury that cost him the season, rehab, coming back from it, and he has cracked that 1,000-yard mark.
How about his offensive line? A banged-up offensive line. They started 4 different right tackles, 3 different right guards, 3 different centers, 4 different left guards, and 2 different left tackles this season. It's a lot of matching and mismatching and moving around up front.
And a 2nd and 6. Mathis in motion. On a handoff, Anderson. And Chester McLaughlin brings him down low. .353 left in the 4th. And Kansas City has used the timeout. They have 1 remaining. But Atlanta is up big on the scoreboard. 26-7 in the 4th.
Second order HBO, right?
Yes, sir. Actually, 7 of them.
So it's got a pretty clear picture then?
100% digital quality.
Football?
Up to 13 NFL games every Sunday if you want them.
I love you.
I know, sir.
Now get free professional installation when you buy a DirecTV system and sign up for Total Choice programming.
Hi.
Back at the Georgia Dome, just under 4 minutes to play now in the 4th. And a chance to tell you, if you want to watch the playoffs in person, just log on and buy tickets online at NFL.com. On a 3rd and 6, Chandler tripped up at at the line of scrimmage, and a handoff goes to Anderson. Breaking tackles. Jamal Anderson angles himself to the sideline. 22-yard gain for Anderson, and busting over the 1,000-yard mark.
I'll tell you what, for Chris Chandler, all you need is a little luck. Here he trips on the center, steps on his foot, but he has the foresight to get the ball to Jamal Anderson, and he does the rest. Watch it. Right there, he gets stepped on by his center, Evan Pegram, but he's able to hand the ball off. But a great job by Jamal Anderson. The hole's to the outside. He makes the hole, stiff arms, runs over people. Heck of a job by the offense. When things are going right, they're going right.
28 carries, 106 yards for Anderson, and a 1st and 10 at the 14. Maurice Smith will get the call, and he'll get brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Clock is moving as we go to New York right now. NFL Today update. Jim Nance.
Ian, this is how the Ravens took a 10-point lead on the Jets. Tupa punts away to Jermaine Lewis, and the Raven returner goes 54 yards. It's the first time in Tupa's career he's ever had a punt return for a touchdown. And after Baltimore was down 14-0, they're now on a 27-3 stretch. Let's go back to Ian in Atlanta.
You know, Jim, this is going to stick with the Jets throughout the season. They are going to lose a chance of going to the postseason on a punt return goes back for a touchdown and an interception return that goes back for the touchdown, and that will be your point disparity in the game. And that was ugly. Chris Chandler couldn't hold on to the football off the snap.
You know it's strange. You go through the entire game without any quarterback center exchange problems or having your foot stepped down by your center. All of a sudden you get down towards the end of the game, and basically it's concentration between both. One, Chris Chandler, and two, the center, that, hey, finish the game, become finishers.
Yeah, Chris Chandler told us he wants to come back next year. This is a good situation for his family. He's got kids in school. He's grown comfortable here in the Atlanta area. The issue becomes whether or not, with the high salary, he's making about $5 million next year, whether the Falcons want to bring him back as the starting QB.
Well, that depends how desperately he wants to come back, and the word restructure coming to the picture.
Oh, that's the word you don't want to hear as a player, is it? Maurice Smith caught from behind by Greg Wesley. That R word, restructure, which could come into play. I'll tell you what else, not only for Chris Chandler, but for Kansas City, Elvis Gerback has a $7 million bonus due to him in March. And the Chiefs may look to restructure, quote unquote, with Gerback, who has had an outstanding season statistically, but his team is going to finish under 500. Atlanta on their way to winning this football game.
If the way it's made doesn't convince you, or the durability, or the safety, or the comfort, or the performance, or the way you're treated, if all that doesn't make you want to buy a Saturn, no offer will. Of course, we could be wrong.
Get APR financing as low as 1.9% on all 2001 models.
Look at that. Staples has overnight delivery.
Slow down, let me see.
Wow, it's free. Hey, look.
Guaranteed low prices. Slow down. Staples delivers.
And you can order online.
This traffic's terrible.
Yep. Like this every single day.
That's really weird.
Need office products delivered overnight? Yeah, we've got that. Call 1-800-STAPLES.
Cannonballs, $129 online. 88 hula hoops, $60 online. Elephant shampoo, $42 online. Not having to pay for any weird charges that show up on your bill? Priceless. With MasterCard, you're not responsible for unauthorized purchases on the web or anywhere. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard.
CBS Friday. Every time Dr. Richard Kimball saves a life, he risks his own.
Don't you hurt her!
Now's the perfect time to experience
I said hands up.
The Fugitive. And if you haven't seen the Golden Globe nominee for Best Drama, this is your chance to see how it all began.
I promise you, there is always a clue.
CSI, The Fugitive, Friday.
Coming up, Subway postgame show. Join Jim, Mike, Randy, all the scores and highlights and the latest playoff news. That's coming up on the Subway postgame show. After that, you can take a nap like that little fella. once you get the story on the playoff picture and how things sort out on the final Sunday of the regular season. Morton Anderson, 36-yard field goal, his 5th of the day, matching a career high. It's the 8th time that he has had 5 field goals in a game.
Should be Morton money. Been fantastic over the years. It just seems he's never slowing down. It's like a fine wine. He just keeps booting them through.
29-7 now, Falcons, with 1:56 to play in the 4th.
And while we've got a second, I'd like to say something to our crew out there. We've had a fantastic season this year. Our cameramen, our technical support, our producer Victor Frank, director Suzanne Smith, everybody, Deb Gelman, Mark Burkhardt. I say this honestly, I will rank our crew up against anybody's crew in the business, and I'm not saying that because we've worked together for a long time. You guys are the best. Have a tremendous holidays. I am not only proud, but I am honored to work with you.
Oh, nice of you to say. There's Mark Burkhardt, man that looks like Kent Graham. Always gets stopped on the streets. Neil Silver behind the scenes as well, and the rest of our crew here at CBS. They busted out the extra cameras to make sure they got on camera this week.
There you go.
Oh, hey, they deserve it. I echo your statements, of course, Mark, and we've had the great pleasure of working together for 3 years, and it's been a lot of fun, as usual. Mike Cloud on the return, and he's brought down to the 22-yard line by Gerald McBurrow's 18-yard return. And the Kansas City Chiefs and Atlanta Falcons, no playoffs for either one of these teams. Just 1:51 left until this one is over.
More of our crew. Man, I know going into the offseason, awful losing season, if you win your last game, the offseason's a lot easier. It's easier to work out. It's easier to concentrate, to get in the mood. It's easier to rehab if you have an injury. But that last victory is so important if you don't go to the playoffs.
Kevin Lockett with the catch and scoots out of bounds. Well, it'll be Atlanta finishing up at 4-12. And the Kansas City Chiefs at 7-9. Gunther Cunningham's team opened up the year 5-3. Playoffs seem like a definite possibility. But things turned, and they turned quickly. A 5-game losing streak. That cost them any chance of the postseason, and now a loss in Atlanta to wrap things up. That would mean a loss to San Diego, the only team to lose to the Chargers this year, and they'll become one of only a handful of teams to lose to the Falcons, who came in riding a 6-game losing streak, having dropped 11 of their last 12. There's a big smile.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to see any smiles over there.
No.
And it's going to be a tough flight home for this Kansas City Chiefs team. Gerback picked off by Derek Vaughn. Got his first ever fumble recovery earlier, and now his first interception.
Well, you wanted to see him return kicks.
Well, we saw him do some other things.
Yeah, he came up with some big plays.
Vaughn is claiming it's a clean pick. Officials are talking it over that maybe it was trapped. And it is a turnover.
That's a big play out of the rookie out of Southwest Texas. Take another look at it right here. No, that is not a pick. That is not a pick. I think the replay officials upstairs will have to take another look at that unless it's an early Christmas present.
Derek sold that one a little bit. And I think they are going to take a look at this one. With 1:20 left, this is not a coach's challenge.
We will review the ruling on the field.
Yeah. 29-7 Atlanta. This one should be pretty quick.
How about this? Derek Vaughn goes out there, takes the ball anyway, saying, I don't care what they say, I'm keeping the football.
Yeah. They might be taking the football away from him in a moment. One more look at it. Gerback throwing.
It's a nice play on the ball by Derek Vaughn, lunging out, but he didn't catch it.
No. And I think one replay will probably do the trick upstairs. And now we're set.
And this should be about a 5-second review.
Now, just for personal goals for some of these players, Tony Gonzalez, 4 catches today. He will fall short of the record for tight ends, but he does become the 3rd tight end ever to catch 90 or more balls in a season. Now with 92 receptions, Derek Alexander He becomes the all-time single-season receiving yardage leader for the Kansas City Chiefs. Gerback falls short of the 30-touchdown number that he was hoping to get to match Len Dawson for the most ever by a Chiefs QB.
Ron, I still think they missed that one ingredient. They need to find one running back and stick with them through thick and thin and say, I don't care if you have a bad game one week, you're getting the ball 25 times the next week.
Listen, I like Tony Richardson. I have a lot of respect for him, but he's not a franchise running back. And the Chiefs found that out this year. Just because they had 2 quality games running the football the last 2 weeks shouldn't change the way they're looking at things.
After reviewing the play, the pass was incomplete. The ball hit the ground. It'll be 2nd and 2 on the 42-yard line for Kansas City.
Well, the right call is made. Much to the chagrin of Vaughn. Yeah.
It's my ball, and I'm going to keep it.
Now for Kansas City, how much work has to be done here? Getting a franchise running back would be the first step.
Yep.
Defensively, what kind of changes do you think they need to make, if any?
Well, I think they suffered through their young defensive secondary, and they're only going to get better next year. And Greg Wesley at the safety position, Pat Dennis at the cornerback, William Barty, their nickel back. I think they have to decide on they need an outside strong linebacker. Mike Mislowski filled in this year for Lou Bush. And I still think they need a dominant defensive lineman. They have Chester McLaughlin in name, but Chester McLaughlin has not set the world on fire the last couple of years.
By the way, Larry Nemmers just corrected himself. It's supposed to be 3rd down after the incompletion. And with 1:22 left, Chris Chandler and the Falcons are just moments away from celebrating their 4th win of the season. They avoid matching their all-time worst record of 3-13, something they've done twice before. Gerback throws, and catch made by Sylvester Morris. For the Falcons, they will have a pick between number 2 and number 6, depending upon how things now sort out here in the final weekend of the regular season.
I think if you're the Falcons, if they stay with Chris Chandler and not look for a quarterback, they have to go defensive line at that point.
Oh, they need a pass rush.
Absolutely. Defensive lineman, big time. Offensive line, probably your 2nd choice. And maybe another wide receiver. They need another complement wide receiver. Sean Jefferson has been kind of up and down in his career, but talking to the coaching staff and players, it's almost like, you know, well, we missed Tony Martin, and he was a great addition to our offense. And no one said that, you know, Sean Jefferson, he's had a good year this year. It's always Terrence Mathis, and they need to get somebody to complement him on the other side.
Frustrating season for the Kansas City Chiefs. They'll wrap it up at 7-9 as Gerback steps up in the pocket. Gerback, little juke move as he slides down across the 30-yard line, and a 1st down for KC. Down to 42 seconds left. On 1st down, Gerback over the middle to Gonzalez. Gets banged around as he drives forward to the 5, and they'll move the chains again. Tony Gonzalez with his 5th catch of the day, 87 yards, and has accounted for the only scoring for KC today. Gonzalez now with 93 catches will finish behind Coates and Christensen all-time list for tight ends. Most receptions in a season. Had a breakout year last year. Went to the Pro Bowl for the first time, and he is going back there to Hawaii, and well-deserved honor.
And if you look at that list of quality tight ends, some of the best in NFL history, Kellen Winslow was like a Tony Gonzalez. You could move him around. You could put him in the slot. You could move him to the outside. Whereas the Ben Coates and Todd Christensen, those are guys you lined up next to the tackle. Maybe you shifted to the other tackle, and you went out and you caught those 5- or 6-yard passes. He's got the ability to stretch the defense.
On a 1st and goal, 20 seconds to play. Gerback knocked away. Flag down. Gonzalez with Gerald McBurrows, and interference will be the call.
And this is an easy one. Gerald McBurrows had his arm around Tony Gonzalez's waist.
Defensive pass interference. Number 22 in the end zone. 1st down on the 1-yard line.
And even in this situation, why do you have your backup free safety covering Tony Gonzalez? That's a no-brainer for your quarterback, Elvis Gerback. You go to him every time.
On first and goal, Gerback, play action, floats it up high and incomplete. Gonzalez could not hang on. You know, in addition to the tough season the Chiefs have had on the field, off the field during the offseason, losing Derek Thomas, car accident, which eventually cost him his life. And for Kansas City, they don't have to start from scratch. There is a core unit here with Carl Peterson calling the shots. And a decision will be made on Gunther Cunningham. Other decisions as well. Up the middle for Frank Moreau. And Moreau picks up his 4th touchdown in his rookie season. Not nearly enough for Kansas City, whose offense throughout the 2nd and 3rd quarters, most of the 4th, invisible.
And their biggest play of the game was that underneath screen to their tight end Tony Gonzalez. But besides that play, they couldn't run the ball effectively. I don't think they took enough chances running the ball. Where, you know, last week it was just amazing to me breaking down that tape. Tony Richardson was phenomenal. I would have started the game. They started the game off throwing the ball. I would have started the game off handing him the ball the first 6 times to see if they could stop him.
2-point conversion attempt. And it's broken up. 10 seconds left now in the 4th as we put the finishing touches on this 2000 regular season. The NFL on CBS. Gunther Cunningham, this is not the way he visualized it. When he made the trip to Atlanta, Dan Reeves is happy to get a win under his belt before we say goodbye. Well, coming up Friday, CBS Sports jumps into the postseason excitement with the Wells Fargo Sun Bowl. Showdown of 2 heavyweights. Game breaker Freddie Mitchell leads the UCLA Bruins against speedster Michael Bennett and the Badgers of Wisconsin. All the action Friday. It's the Wells Fargo Sun Bowl here on CBS. Dan Reeves told us that his health has been much better, has a lot more energy, but sleeping has been a problem, not because of his health, but because of the losing.
It's a tough business, he told us, and it is for a head coach. You go through so much on the field and winning and losing, and the pressures of not only the media, but the internal pressure of the organization and the fans giving you pressure. And then you deal with the players' problems and the players' pressures also. So there's a lot for a head coach to contend with. But you know, he feels that he wants to come back, and he wants to do a great job for his organization. And I think he should come back and will come back.
Onside kick. Atlanta's got it. Brian Finneran, one of the bigger players that you will see. Finneran listed at 6'5". Able to recover, and Warren Moon allowing himself to smile as his professional career comes to an end, retiring. 23 years of pro football, 6 of them in the Canadian Football League. Getting congratulations on the Kansas City sideline. 8 seconds left. And that's it for both of these clubs. Maybe the final game that Chris Chandler will play in a Falcons uniform. Atlanta will make a decision during the offseason. Quarterback was a problem for this team this year with Chandler, Johnson, and Cannell, none of them showing consistency. And that's it. The Atlanta Falcons end their season with a win. 29-13 over the Kansas City Chiefs. Don't forget, the Subway postgame show is coming up. That'll do it for us. For Mark May, our entire CBS crew, this is Ian Eagle saying so long from the Georgia Dome. Falcons 29, Chiefs 13. Let's send you to Jim Nantz, the Subway postgame show. Coming up here, the NFL on CBS.
Ian and Mark and your entire crew, thank you for a great season. The Falcons in the season, closing out a 6-game skid with a victory here today, 4-12, 2 seasons removed from their super season, while the Chiefs lose their last 5 road games of the year. Shortly, we're going to take you to Baltimore for bonus coverage of this critical game between the Ravens and Jets. Jets have just kicked the field goal to move within 7. Here's some of the early action. Mike Ditka and Randy Cross alongside.
The opening game with a flea flicker, Testaverde hits Ward for a touchdown. They had him off balance in the beginning of the game. They got, I mean, they got about 500 yards in the football game. Here's Dilfer. Watch this play. He gets hit, throws the ball. He hits Quadrivium on the back of the end zone for a touchdown. And this is what killed him right here. Chris McAllister, bang, all the way for a touchdown. And really, the turnovers have killed the Jets. I mean, Testaverde has really shot himself in the foot. He doesn't look like he has a whole lot on the ball to me, really.
Well, look, they're up 14-12. It could have been a 14-point play right there. 98 yards.